Burnout can be considered as the cup that sooner or later you will have to drink. This cup is the acceptance of the fact that you are human and cannot drink it. Let's talk a little about this. Burnout is mental exhaustion. Your mind is aware. For example, if you come and lift something heavy, after a while you will feel it and you will find it difficult to return to your comfort zone. Or if you run for about an hour, you will feel it and find it difficult to run more to your comfort zone. The same thing happens with the mind. If you work for a while, you will feel it, and it will be impossible to continue to your comfort zone. The problem with this concept is that it is vague to me. We as humans do not understand it and do not know how it works. Anyone who has tried this example of the muscle will know that you can only relax if you exert effort and take a break. The next time you go for a walk, you will never get tired, but the concept is vague and was not. In addition, it is something that is related to the human brain and mind, which is already a complex thing, and even science does not understand it well. The rest do not know how it works, and there are many opinions on that and many tests in the field. But what we are sure of is that it is one of the things that truly exists. And what we know is that it is one of the things that exists in most people, and one of the things that came out completely on Geneseo. If you follow me in this case, you will know that the fastest way to solve any problem is to be aware of the problem. We have one of the actions, for example, reading. Services show me that this action requires effort. This effort is divided into physical effort and mental effort, for example. In order to go to the library, you will need muscular effort. You will need to work your muscles in order to run or to shake. So far, everything is clear, but there is another effort that you will need. Another unit of energy hidden inside your mind. Mental effort. That effort is because you wake up, get dressed, get out of your warm bed, and go to the library. The effort you need to wake up in the morning and shake your head and get up to serve, or the effort you need to mature and read this kind of effort, is something you can imagine if you don't have a battery in your brain. This battery is full at first. For example, you want to get rid of it, you enter the first cycle and go through the second and third cycles. You can walk without any problem, but that battery is going to run out, and it's going to run out completely, and then you'll start saying, I don't have time, or I can't do it again, or it's too hard, or any other excuse you can give it this condition, which is called burnout, and you can expect it to happen to you, whether in reading, serving, or on days when you start to feel like you have no energy, and everything in your head is a mess. You can't relax and you can't rest. You don't know where to go and you don't know how to use the energy you have. Let me give you an example to help you understand better. When the new year begins, many people making New Year's resolutions. Someone says, I'm going to stick to my diet. But 3 or 8 months later, they're still eating the same way. Why? Because the enthusiasm he had at the beginning was temporary and gave him the motivation to keep going, but over time that enthusiasm faded and he lost his drive. The problem with motivation is that it comes from action, which turns into routine. The need is constant. I saw someone I gave a book to and told him to read for an hour. He was able to get up and read it. He was enthusiastic and amazed, but if you told him to read tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, he would reach a point where he could no longer read. He would reach a point where he could no longer read. The person responsible for this reading routine would ask him, what is the first thing you must do to shake off your burnout? It is to understand your mind and how you can live with this thing in a way that it's true that you can be uninterested in reading, so why don't you want to read? You can be uninterested in what you don't like, so why can't you like it? You can be uninterested in your service, so why can't you serve? You'll see that it's easy to say that you're blind because you don't want to read or work. And it's also easy for me to tell you that you're blind and that I'm attached to you and tell you what you want to hear in this video, but we have to be realistic. If you are in this century and you don't read or work of your own accord, don't tell me you are blind. Be logical and realistic with your head. Let me explain to you how this happens. It often happens when you're sitting and you get the idea that you don't want to play on YouTube. If you want to read a book, it doesn't matter if you play in your case. When you decide to do something you haven't decided before, what happens inside you? Your brain says, "Ha!" Can you imagine your brain running like a secretary every time you make a decision? The only thing your brain wants to do, which you don't understand, is that this action you are taking is not just a simple action, but two actions. It's not that you say you're going to walk downstairs, your brain says you're going to walk again. You can't understand that this is something you will always do in the same way. If you want to review the exam, your mind will not understand that you will need to read today, and after lunch, and after that, in order to be able to complete this thing that you must do. So what happens? Let's go back to the example of a saw. We have to give the example of a saw because it's easy and understandable, and everything a saw can do. Often, when you get involved in it, you have great enthusiasm because it's normal. It's the battery that's full. This full battery makes you start training 5 days a week and makes you focus your whole life on a saw speaker 1, 00537.03. This is normal. This is normal. When you are enthusiastic, it gives you great enthusiasm, which makes you defend yourself strongly and ask questions. And when you ask questions, you will often know what will happen. These symptoms begin to appear, and you don't have time. And this is difficult and harmful. Today we cannot walk, and I don't have money to buy food, and so on. This stage is simply burnout. This burnout makes you hold back your true self. Your mind may associate it with something difficult, something bad, something you don't want, and therefore you must relax and be able to donate from this burnout. But where you hold back, your mind associates it with something bad, something outside your comfort zone. And in order to return to it, you will need a lot of effort to make the decision again, and you build up your energy again. In short, burnout comes when you push yourself to do something because of the enthusiasm you have inside you, and it makes you lock it away. When you lock it away and the burnout goes away, you will find it difficult to return to your routine. The problem with burnout is that sometimes it can come at an important time, such as when you have an exam or something else important. You are preoccupied with something difficult. You get stuck with this burnout and you keep reading and don't serve it psychologically, and thus your motivation and productivity drop a lot. As if your head is just focused on your work and your mind is preoccupied with your head, continuing where you are until you find a solution. What is the solution? Let's separate the second cycle. I will say that this cycle will bring my head together. You will read 7 days in the seminary. On the days you don't read the Bible, you will read physics, and on the days you don't read physics, you will memorize Islamic jurisprudence. And this is something I will tell you very well. This cycle is new. This is the radiant health that enters you. You will study the seminary for 3 weeks. This wellness will burn you up, and you will not be able to continue the same thing with the original, especially the first and second. It says that it will eat chiffon and eggs. I will give you golden advice. Learn to be disciplined about rest. This sentence is what the video has been saying since the morning, and I was just waiting to make the video longer.